Fuck Martha Stewart.
Welcome to the chaotic world of Fight Club, the 1999 cult classic that redefined rebellion and identity on screen. Directed by David Fincher and starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, and Helena Bonham Carter, this mind-bending thriller is packed with hidden details, shocking behind-the-scenes moments, and secrets that most viewers never notice. Today, we're breaking the first rule by talking about Fight Club and uncovering 13 weird and fascinating facts that will change how you watch this iconic film forever. Let's step into Tyler Durden's world and dive into the madness. And just before we dive in, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers as a small channel. If you'd like to help me keep digging, hit that subscribe button. It truly means a lot. Here are 13 mind-blowing facts you didn't know about Fight Club. Fact 1. Edward Norton actually punched Brad Pitt in the ear. During the filming of Fight Club's first basement fight, director David Fincher encouraged realism in the performances. He instructed Edward Norton to actually punch Brad Pitt, but instead of the expected shoulder or chest hit, Norton delivered a surprising blow directly to Pitt's ear. Pitt's startled reaction, grimacing, and exclaiming in pain was entirely genuine and left in the final cut of the film. This unscripted moment adds to the raw, chaotic energy of the underground fights, which Fincher wanted to feel unpolished and spontaneous. By incorporating this real pain, the director reinforced the film's core themes of embracing discomfort and rejecting artificiality. The scene has since become an iconic example of Fincher's meticulous yet daring approach to filmmaking, blurring the line between performance and reality to immerse the audience in the narrator's journey into violence and self-destruction. Fact 2. Tyler Durden's blood magically disappears. One of Fight Club's many hidden details involves Tyler Durden's appearance during his altercation with Lou, the irate bar owner. When Lou punches Tyler, blood immediately appears on his face. However, in subsequent shots, that same blood disappears and reappears inconsistently, defying continuity. While many casual viewers dismiss this as a typical filmmaking error, fans and analysts have connected it to the movie's psychological subtext. The inconsistency reflects the unreliable perception of the narrator, who is recounting events that are increasingly distorted by his mental break and Tyler's presence as an alter ego. This subtle detail adds to the sense of disorientation the film intentionally creates, reinforcing the theme that reality in Fight Club is fluid and subjective. Fincher often leaves such visual irregularities uncorrected, using them as cinematic breadcrumbs for audiences to question what is authentic and what exists only in the narrator's fractured mind. Fact 3. The narrator reacts to Tyler's pain. In a blink and you miss it moment during one of the early basement fights, the narrator flinches in unison with Tyler Durden when Tyler gets hit in the stomach. This subtle piece of acting is one of the many early clues foreshadowing that the two characters are actually the same person. Edward Norton intentionally mirrors Brad Pitt's reactions in a way that seems almost subconscious, visually linking the characters before the film's dramatic reveal. This choice adds to the film's psychological layering, making repeated viewings more rewarding for audiences who catch these hidden hints. Director David Fincher is known for embedding these micro details to enhance storytelling without overtly spoiling the twist. This synchronized wincing is a perfect example of how Fight Club relies on performance subtleties to communicate its unreliable reality, preparing viewers for the eventual revelation of Tyler and the narrator's shared identity without giving it away outright. Fact 4. Tyler Durden's subliminal cameos before his introduction. Before Tyler Durden officially enters the film in the airport sequence, he makes several subliminal appearances in fleeting single-frame flashes. David Fincher inserted Brad Pitt's image into ordinary scenes, standing at a copier, walking past hallways, or reflected in windows, barely visible to the audience. These appearances mimic Tyler's job at the movie theater, where he splices illicit frames into family films, creating a meta layer of self-reference. The technique is also a brilliant foreshadowing device, hinting that Tyler exists as a figment of the narrator's imagination long before the twist is revealed. Viewers often miss these flashes during their first watch, but they become a thrilling discovery upon rewatching, turning the film into an interactive experience. Fincher's use of subliminal editing reinforces Fight Club's themes of chaos, psychological fragmentation, and the subversive power of media to manipulate perception. Fact 5. Brad Pitt chipped his tooth for authenticity. Brad Pitt took his commitment to the role of Tyler Durden to an extreme by intentionally chipping his front tooth before filming. He believed that Tyler, a man who rejects societal expectations and embraces chaos, would have an imperfect smile to reflect his rough lifestyle and underground fighting habits. Pitt visited a dentist to have the tooth altered and only had it repaired after production wrapped. This dedication to physical transformation adds to the believability of Tyler's gritty persona. The chipped tooth is visible in several close-ups and becomes a subtle yet powerful detail of his character's visual storytelling. This act also fits Fincher's preference for authenticity. He wanted the characters to look worn and lived in rather than polished. Pitt's decision demonstrated the same fearless energy that Tyler himself embodies, blurring the line between actor and character in service of the film's anarchic atmosphere. Fact 6. Marla Singer was almost played by Janeane Garofalo. Before Helena Bonham Carter became synonymous with the role of Marla Singer, the part was briefly given to comedian and actress Janeane Garofalo. Studio executives originally saw Garofalo as a fit for the cynical, self-destructive character, but Edward Norton strongly disagreed, feeling she wouldn't match the film's darker tone. Director David Fincher ultimately sided with Norton and cast Helena Bonham Carter, whose macabre charm and willingness to embrace Marla's morbid quirks elevated the role. Carter even wore makeup designed to look like she had slept in it for days, perfectly embodying Marla's chaotic lifestyle. Her chemistry with both Norton and Pitt proved essential to balancing the film's emotional core amid its violence and satire. The casting change has since been praised as pivotal, as Carter's performance gave Marla a tragic elegance that grounded the film's psychological and narrative twists in a sense of fragile humanity. Fact 7. The detective's names reference C7N writer Andrew Kevin Walker. When the narrator is interrogated near the end of the film, the three detectives questioning him are named Andrew, Kevin, and Walker. This is a subtle nod to Andrew Kevin Walker, the screenwriter of David Fincher's earlier hit *Seasons* and an uncredited contributor to Fight Club. Walker reportedly provided script feedback and minor dialogue touches that helped shape the film's tone of urban decay and moral nihilism. By naming the detectives after him, Fincher included a playful Easter egg connecting his two dark, genre-defining thrillers. For fans of Fincher's filmography, this hidden tribute adds an extra layer of intertextuality between Seven and Fight Club, both of which explore the darker impulses lurking within modern society. It is one of many details that reward attentive viewers, further cementing Fincher's reputation for precision and self-aware storytelling even in the smallest aspects of his movies. Fact 8. The Volkswagen Beetle smash was personal. One memorable sequence shows Tyler and the narrator taking baseball bats to a parked Volkswagen Beetle during their anti-corporate vandalism spree. This wasn't just random car destruction, it had personal meaning for both Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. Both actors reportedly disliked the Beetle because it had become a symbol of shallow consumer nostalgia, co-opted by advertising campaigns that sold rebellion as a brand. Smashing the car became a cathartic visual representation of the film's critique of modern consumer culture and its obsession with commodified identity. Fincher embraced this symbolic moment, allowing the actors' real frustrations to bleed into the scene. In a film about rejecting societal expectations and the illusion of happiness through possessions, targeting the Beetle, a beloved, cute car marketed to young adults, felt like the perfect rebellious gesture. The moment captures Fight Club's raw spirit of mischief, destruction, and anti-corporate satire in a single swing. Fact 9. The drunken golf ball scene was improvised. One of the film's most spontaneous moments occurs when Tyler and the narrator drunkenly hit golf balls off a suburban lawn, laughing recklessly in the night. What many viewers don't realize is that this entire sequence was improvised by Edward Norton and Brad Pitt during a filming break. The two actors had been drinking and decided to swing at nearby objects, including a catering van, while the cameras rolled. Director David Fincher loved the raw, chaotic energy and decided to incorporate the footage into the final film. This unscripted scene captures the essence of Fight Club, the liberation of breaking rules and embracing primal impulses. It also adds a layer of authenticity to the developing friendship between the narrator and Tyler, reflecting the kind of aimless, thrill-seeking behavior that defines their spiral into anarchy. The result is a natural, unpredictable moment that enhances the film's rebellious tone. Fact 10. The opening credits journey through the brain. Fight Club's opening title sequence is a visual marvel that sets the tone for the film's psychological depth. The camera begins inside the narrator's brain, traveling through neural pathways and synapses before exiting through his skin, following a bead of sweat down his face, and finally emerging at the barrel of the gun held in his mouth. This complex CGI sequence visualizes the idea that the story will unfold entirely from inside the narrator's mind, foreshadowing the psychological twist that Tyler Durden is his projection. The intricate design required a combination of computer-generated effects and scientific references to create a believable microscopic journey. By starting the film on a literal trip through the mind, Fincher immediately signals that perception and reality will blur. This bold opening also reinforces the movie's thematic exploration of inner chaos, self-destruction, and the confrontation with one's deepest impulses. Fact 11. Tyler Durden's subliminal frames as a cinematic trick. David Fincher embedded subliminal flashes of Tyler Durden throughout the first act of Fight Club, long before the character's proper introduction at the airport. These flashes occur in single frames as the narrator navigates his empty, sterile life. Tyler appears by a photocopier in a hotel hallway and reflected in a doctor's office window. These visual intrusions are almost imperceptible during a first watch, but make perfect sense after the reveal that Tyler is a manifestation of the narrator's psyche. This technique is also meta-cinematic, echoing Tyler's job splicing inappropriate frames into children's films. Fincher's use of subliminal imagery cleverly plants the idea that Tyler is already a part of the narrator's subconscious reality, visually mirroring his growing dissociation. The trick rewards sharp-eyed viewers and reinforces the film's core theme, that Tyler has always been lurking in the background of the narrator's suppressed desires waiting to take over. Fact 12. A massive production with 200 locations and 1,500 film rolls. Fight Club was an unusually ambitious project for a psychologically complex R-rated film. The production spanned 138 days, covered over 200 locations, and involved nearly 300 distinct scenes, resulting in an enormous amount of footage. Cinematographer Jeff Cronenweth and David Fincher shot the movie using approximately 1,500 rolls of film, triple the amount typically used for a Hollywood feature at the time. This allowed Fincher to capture multiple takes and experiment with lighting, camera movements, and practical effects to achieve the film's meticulously crafted visuals. The sheer scale of production also contributed to the movie's immersive atmosphere, as scenes transitioned seamlessly from corporate offices to grimy basements, urban streets, and chaotic explosions. This dedication to expansive filmmaking reflects Fincher's commitment to precision and detail, ensuring that even the most disorienting psychological moments are grounded in a world that feels rich, tangible, and lived in. Fact 13. Innovative sweat effects for realistic grit. To capture the grimy, lived-in atmosphere of Fight Club, makeup artist Julie Pierce developed a unique method for creating realistic sweat and grime on the actors. Instead of relying solely on traditional spray bottles or glycerin, she used a combination of mineral water misted with Vaseline for heavy, oily sweat and plain water for lighter perspiration. This allowed David Fincher to control how sweat appeared under different lighting conditions, ensuring that the actors' exertion in fight scenes looked authentic without appearing artificially shiny. These subtle details enhance the film's gritty aesthetic, emphasizing the physical toll of underground fighting and the harshness of the environments. By perfecting something as small as sweat, the filmmakers contributed to the immersive realism that Fight Club is known for. The commitment to this level of detail reflects Fincher's meticulous style, where even microscopic elements serve the overall mood and storytelling of the movie. And that's 13 weird and surprising facts that reveal the secret world behind Fight Club. From chipped teeth and improvised chaos to real-life inspirations, this movie's legacy goes far beyond the screen. Over 2 decades later, it still challenges us to question society, our identity, and the rules we follow. The next time you watch, you'll see every fight, every flash, and every clue in a whole new way. If you love these secrets, like and share, because the first rule of Fight Club might be silence, but the fun is in breaking it.
How deep the rabbit hole goes.
What is real? How do you define real?
You wake up in a world that feels wrong. Your phone buzzes, the lights flicker, and for a split second, you swear the walls are breathing. A voice in your head whispers, "What if none of this is real?" That's the question The Matrix buried in your brain back in 1999. A question wrapped in trench coats, slow-motion bullets, and green code that drips like radioactive rain. But behind the philosophy and kung fu lies a secret history of accidents, experiments, and impossibly weird truths. Take the red pill because tonight we're revealing 15 strange facts about the Matrix that will bend your reality. And just before we dive in, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers as a small channel. If you'd like to help me keep digging, hit that subscribe button. It truly means a lot. Here are 15 mind-blowing facts you didn't know about the Matrix. 1. The code is actually sushi recipes. You remember the first time you saw the Matrix code, glowing green glyphs raining down the screen, like alien hieroglyphs whispering digital secrets. But what if those secrets were dinner plans? Simon Whiteley, the production designer, revealed that the code wasn't computer jargon at all. He scanned characters from his wife's Japanese cookbook, specifically sushi recipes, then flipped them vertically to create the iconic digital rain. So every time Neo dodges a bullet in cyberspace, he's technically sliding past a vertical menu of maki rolls and miso soup. Reality might be an illusion, but dinner is eternally comforting. 2. Will Smith, Nicolas Cage, and Sandra Bullock could have been Neo. Keanu Reeves might feel inevitable as Neo, but Hollywood first offered the role to Will Smith. He turned it down, thinking the Wachowskis' wild camera time freeze pitch sounded too experimental. Nicolas Cage was next, but family obligations got in the way. Leonardo DiCaprio also declined after Titanic, wary of another massive CGI project. Even Sandra Bullock was considered when Warner Brothers briefly imagined Neo as a woman. Eventually, Reeves said yes, and his calm, contemplative energy became the backbone of the franchise. In some alternate Matrix timeline, you're watching Cage dodge bullets while Will Smith freestyles about déjà vu. 3. Morpheus almost looked very different. Lawrence Fishburne's calm, commanding presence as Morpheus feels untouchable now. But the casting process nearly derailed destiny. Val Kilmer was first in line, reportedly debating whether he wanted to play Morpheus or Neo. Producers briefly entertained Samuel L. Jackson and Gary Oldman as potential mentors in the machine. In the end, Fishburne's voice, deep, deliberate, almost hypnotic, convinced the Wachowskis he could make cryptic lines about reality, and red pills feel like gospel when he leans forward and whispers, "What if I told you?" The world bends. Imagine anyone else delivering that truth, and the Matrix suddenly feels like a knockoff simulation. 4. Trinity's stunts were nearly all Carrie-Anne Moss. Trinity's opening kick through that window? Carrie-Anne Moss, the mid-air gun ballet. Moss again, the actress committed fully to performing most of her own stunts, even after secretly injuring her ankle early in filming. She didn't tell the Wachowskis, afraid they'd replace her in the action sequences. That meant sprinting, flipping, and wire, flying through fight choreography while hiding constant pain. Trinity's lethal grace comes from that quiet defiance, an actress embodying a character who bends the rules of reality, even off camera. Next time she hovers in bullet time, remember, that's not CGI attitude. That's real bruises wrapped in black vinyl. 5. Keanu Reeves fought through spine surgery. Before Neo could bend reality, Keanu Reeves had to heal his own body. Months before filming, he underwent spinal fusion surgery for a serious neck injury that threatened his mobility. During early fight training with legendary choreographer Yuen Wu-Ping, Reeves couldn't fully kick. His legs were too weak. Instead, the team designed choreography around punches, blocks, and fluid torso movement until he recovered. Watch those early sequences closely. His precise, almost stoic fighting style isn't just a character choice, it's necessity. Neo wasn't born moving like Bruce Lee. He became the one while carrying the weight of healing vertebrae and silent pain. 6. Hugo Weaving's leg injury nearly recast Agent Smith. Hugo Weaving's Agent Smith embodies inevitability, but the actor nearly lost the role to bad luck. On the very first day of stunt rehearsal, Weaving injured his hip and leg. Doctors discovered a benign polyp aggravating the problem, threatening to halt production. Warner Brothers briefly considered recasting the film's main villain to avoid delays. Instead, the schedule was rearranged so Weaving could heal post-surgery. Ironically, his slightly mechanical movements during certain fight scenes, calm, deliberate, and inhuman, mirror the character perfectly. Smith became terrifying not just through dialogue, but through the restrained, calculated movements of an actor fighting real-world fragility. 7. The Wachowskis sold the script. With a 600-page comic book before The Matrix was a blockbuster, it was a hard sell. The Wachowskis knew their vision of leather-clad hackers defying a robotic simulation needed visual proof. So they created a massive 600-page storyboard comic book drawn by artist Steve Skroce. Every shot, every action beat, every slow-motion bullet swirl was illustrated in detail. When Warner Bros. Executives saw Trinity leap, Morpheus offer the pills, and the agents dodge bullets, all on paper, they finally understood. The studio bought the pitch not just as a script, but as a graphic novel come alive. In a way, The Matrix was born as ink first. 8. Bullet time was an expensive science experiment. The now legendary bullet time wasn't just a VFX trick, it was filmmaking rebellion. The team rigged nearly 100 still cameras in a circular array to capture Keanu Reeves dodging bullets at impossible speed. Frames were stitched together to simulate the camera moving through frozen time, a method derived from art photography experiments. Each second of footage cost hundreds of thousands to produce. The gamble worked, the impossible felt real. Bullet time didn't just change The Matrix, it changed action cinema, inspiring everything from commercials to superhero films. For one dizzying moment, time wasn't a straight line, it was a circle around Neo's head. 9. Trinity's leather outfit was actually cheap. Vinyl Trinity's sleek, liquid black costume became an icon of late 90s cyberpunk. But the wardrobe budget told another story. Costume designer Kim Barrett revealed that the leather catsuit was actually made of inexpensive PVC vinyl, which reflected light like oil on water. Real leather would have restricted Carrie-Anne Moss's movements and blown the budget. Under bright lights, the costume looked futuristic, but in reality, it squeaked, trapped heat, and smelled of plastic after long shoots. The illusion of elite tech and rebellion was built on something cheap and sticky. It's a perfect metaphor for The Matrix itself. All shine, no truth. 10. Those sunglasses were custom made for every character. No one in The Matrix bought their shades at the mall. The film's iconic eyewear was specially designed by Blinda Design, with each pair reflecting character traits. Neo's tiny ovals matched his minimalist curiosity. Morpheus's pince-nez lenses floated without arms, like an oracle's challenge. Agent Smith's rectangular frames were all corporate menace and symmetry. The mirrored lenses weren't just aesthetic, they hid the crew and cameras during close-ups. Those reflections became a subtle visual motif. In a world of illusion, everyone's eyes are shields. If you look closely at the lobby shootout, you might even spot the Matrix bending in their glass. 11. Reflections and mirrors hide everywhere. The Wachowskis love visual riddles, and The Matrix is packed with literal reflections of its central theme, distorted reality. Mirrors stretch and ripple when Neo touches them, yes, but reflective surfaces appear in sunglasses, doorknobs, and even raindrops. The production team often hid cameras in clever ways, like cutting a coat to disguise a lens in a doorknob's reflection. Composer Don Davis mirrored this visually with musical patterns that loop and reflect themselves. Subconsciously, you're always seeing two worlds at once, the one the characters live in, and the one quietly reminding you that it's all just staged, silvered illusion. 12. There is no spoon. Happened on release day, Neo meets the gifted child in the Oracle's waiting room, bending spoons as reality wavers. It's one of the film's most quoted lines, but the timing makes it creepier. That scene takes place on March 31st, 1999, the actual day the movie premiered. In essence, audiences were watching a character achieve self-realization in universe at the same time the film was waking up viewers in real life. The spoon itself wasn't a special effect, a flexible prop bent while the actor kept his hand steady. When the child says there is no spoon, he's also speaking to every theater seat. 13. The Matrix is a cyberpunk collage of influences. If The Matrix feels like a fever dream of every sci-fi book you ever read, that's because it kind of is. The Wachowskis stitched together inspirations from Ghost in the Shell, William Gibson's Neuromancer, and classic anime like Akira and Ninja Scroll. Even Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland echoes through rabbit holes and red pills. This mashup wasn't plagiarism, it was cyberpunk jazz. The film embraced philosophy, Hong Kong action, and anime aesthetics to create a new cultural myth. When Neo wakes up in the goo pod, you're not just seeing one story, you're seeing decades of underground sci-fi dreaming. 14. A subconscious trans allegory runs through the story. Years after the original release, Lily Wachowski confirmed what some fans had long suspected. The Matrix is, in part, a trans allegory. The splinter in your mind, the sensation of living in an unreal body, and the transformative red pill all mirror the trans experience. In the late 1990s, mainstream Hollywood wasn't ready for that conversation, so the theme remained coded. Much like The Matrix itself, fans later connected the red pill to early hormone therapy. Estradiol capsules often came in red. Neo's journey isn't just about saving humanity, it's about claiming authenticity in a world built to deny it. 15. The Matrix rewrote film history and broke records. By the time audiences unplugged from theaters, The Matrix had already changed cinema. It grossed over $460 million worldwide, earned 4 Oscars for its revolutionary technical achievements, and became the first DVD to sell more than 3 million copies in the US. Bullet time entered pop culture. Slow-motion gunfights became a staple, and every movie studio suddenly wanted their own Matrix. Beyond the numbers, it reshaped action and sci-fi storytelling, mixing philosophy with adrenaline. 25 years later, the Green Code still reigns in our cultural memory. Part sushi menu, part existential wake-up call. Entirely impossible to escape. You've felt it, haven't you? That itch in your mind that the world isn't quite real. The traffic lights flicker a beat too slow. A black cat crosses your path twice, and in that tiny moment, a thought creeps in. Maybe I'm not awake at all. That feeling? That's the Matrix breathing through the cracks of your reality. In 1999, the Wachowskis turned that paranoia into a cinematic virus. Leather-clad rebels, gravity-breaking kung fu, and green code raining down like alien hieroglyphs. But the truth behind the movie is stranger than its fiction, because behind the bullet time glory and the existential dread, The Matrix was built on injuries, accidents, optical illusions, and secret jokes that almost no one noticed. Its code is made of sushi recipes. Its stunts left actors limping in silence. Its philosophy hides personal confessions in plain sight. So tonight, you're not just rewatching a movie. You're falling through the screen into 15 weird facts about The Matrix that will make you question whether you've ever truly woken up.